Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Yo, what's up guys, Dota Academy here, and today we're joined by Ariel and we're going to be discussing the top 10 buffs of patch 7.06. Now this ranges from just the general patch notes, like I had the video on that, link will be in the description, but also a couple of heroes as well, and we'll just give our thoughts on it. So at number 10 we have Windranger, and her level 20 talent now allows you to become invisible when you use Windrun. Now this is really good for Windranger because you kind of turn into a weaver, you're kind of like Shakuchiing out, and obviously you do have the 100% evasion, so that's a very nice talent for her to have. It helps her with survivability. Ariel, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I'd like to know what's the other talent option other than this one, because I think that's also important to know. Like, is the other one a lot worse or a lot better? So how often would you be getting this talent?
So the level 20 talent for Windranger right now is either you get plus 120 power shot damage, or you get the invisibility when you use Windrun. So Ariel, which one would you say is better?
I think it would depend on the game, as usual with most talents. Like, they can both be strong, depends on what kind of game you're playing as Windranger. Like, do you need to be sort of more elusive and maybe dodge that crucial ability, maybe like an RP or something, who knows? Or do you need to have that extra magical damage to sort of be that damage dealer for your team?
Let's move on to number 9. Number 9 is with Sven, God's Strength now grants you a bonus 16, 28, 48 strength when activated, plus it gives you an extra 800 HP when he ultis. What do you think?
Okay, well, it's important to mention as well with this, they also changed the scaling on his damage bonus when you use your ulti as Sven. So instead of being 200% at level 3, it's now 160% bonus damage at level 3. But at the same time, you need to understand that it's also the bonus damage you get depends only on your base strength, not any damage from, say, Daedalus or MKB. No like what's that called? Just added damage, I suppose.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I don't know the exact numbers, but it looks like just a buff really, because whereas before it was just you get damage.
Before it was damage, but now it's like you're getting the HP, 800 HP, and the strength. Like, the strength gives you damage and HP. So really, you're getting more than 800 HP, and you're getting bonus damage, and you still get the 160% damage on top of that. And that's also calculated after the strength is added. So really,
I'm not exactly sure on the numbers, but
I think you might actually be able to get more damage. I'm not sure, but I definitely think it's more a buff than a nerf, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that 800 HP goes a long way. That's more than a Skadi gives you. That's almost a heart of Taras.
Yeah.
So
moving on to number 8, we've got Shadow Shaman. His base damage increased by 6. He now hits for 74 damage at level 1, which is really good, for example, for zoning offlaners and getting denies as well, because you get XP now for denying. And it's not even just this. I think right now he may be one of the hardest hitting ranged heroes at level 1.
Yeah, I think this is an important change. Before he was kind of like a bit weak, you know, he's kind of level dependent, which is not what you want in a support. You want them to be useful from the get-go. So now with that bonus extra 6 damage, you've got like a really hard-hitting support that can zone out the offlaner. Added on to maybe a level 1 ether shock, you can do some serious damage and just zone them out really, whereas you couldn't do that as effectively before.
Yeah, I think that's one of the major buffs actually in this patch so far. So moving on to number 7, Razor. Now his Eye of the Storm prioritizes on hitting units that are linked with static link. So basically it means that Razor can target his ultimate, like, because before, you know, if you're fighting and you're near creep wave or jungle, use your ult, but it's like you're not really doing damage primarily on the heroes themselves. But now it's going to try and target hero static link, and it can hard counter many heroes now, like Slark. For example, if you're able to get static link on Slark, like take his damage and be able to get your ult doing all sorts of damage.
Taking his armor, taking stripping his health away. Yeah, pretty much just makes Razor stronger in crowds of creeps, so he doesn't have to worry so much about his damage being diluted over those creeps, really.
Yeah. Moving on to number 6, we've got Pugna, and Life Drain now grants True Sight whenever you use Life Drain, basically, so on any target. So if you use it on a bounty hunter and he goes invis, you'll still be able to see him. What do you think of that?
This is a really nice, just straight up buff to Pugna. Just make him stronger against these invisible heroes, who often will be looking to hunt him down. Maybe Ricky late game will definitely be able to take down a Pugna, but now he's sort of got some sort of, he can fight back to an extent. Less need for dust, less need for gem. Just a buff, really.
Yeah. Moving on to number 5, now with Night Stalker, Hunter in the Night can be activated during night to give Night Stalker flying movement for 2 seconds. Now, this, you can literally gank now over ground, like cliffs and trees, and it makes him very sudden, so you're able to get really, really like sudden quick ganks over terrain, and it's also very good for escaping.
So I noticed you can only use it in the night, right? So it makes him that much stronger than night, as if he wasn't now he's even more night oriented. Huge vision range, 1200.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just makes him even more of that hero, very much a vision based hero, just taking all the vision away from the enemies and giving your allies just as much vision as possible. So I'm sure there are some crazy tricks that they'll come up with this ability. Yeah. Maybe a few Aegis steals we'll see with it across the Roche Pit, stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll see those for sure.
It's very cheap as well, 50. So yeah.
50 what? Oh yeah, mana cost is 50. Yeah. Right. Moving on to number 4. Now with Kunkka, his ghost ship will always crash where you target it. Remember before, so when you used to click it before, if you clicked it right next to you, it would go miles in the direction in front of you.
Yeah. It was set to be, it would always go 1,000 units ahead of your character in the direction that your character was facing. So yeah, this is a lot better. It makes it a lot easier to pull off nice ghost ship combos.
Moving on to number 3, Desolator is no longer a unique attack modifier. Now this is a massive buff to heroes that love reducing armor, like PA, Templar Assassin, all those heroes. It's now literally, you can literally go for a standard build with Lads. You could get maybe a Value Morbid Mask into a Satanic now, just because it won't cancel out the unique attack modifiers.
Yeah, Satanic obviously really valuable on a hero like PA who would love that sort of second chance. They seem to just be getting rid of unique attack modifiers. An example in this patch, they removed Sand King's Caustic Finale. Used to be a UAM, but it's not anymore. So I think they're just removing it. It just kind of complicates things unnecessarily, so it's good to see this sort of simplifying. Moving
on to number 2 with the neutrals. The neutrals now spawn every minute instead of every 2 minutes, like how it was before patch 7.0. And Ariel, as a support player, do you want to explain the implications?
This is probably the biggest one. I overlooked this one when I initially read the list, but yeah, this is huge. Makes pulling and stacking a lot, a lot easier, really. You do get the 20% less XP in gold, but at the end of the day, you're getting double the amount of creeps. In a 2-minute time frame, you're getting double the amount of creeps than you used to. So overall, it's more farm, which I think is needed. It's a bit too slow, I think, at least compared to last patch. And I think it was fine how it was before, So let's just bring it back to how it was.
Yeah, and it's also helpful for flash farmers, for example, like Meepo, Anti-Mage Battle Fury, Empower, Agility carries. It just makes farming a lot more better, because jungling was so nerfed when 7.0 came out. Every 2 minutes it was ridiculous. You wouldn't see many heroes jungling, because we saw in this meta loads of position 4s just roaming around the map. But now we may actually be seeing more junglers like the Axes, the Enigmas. So we'll have to see. But moving on to number 1 is, believe it or not, the Shrines. Now this is a very controversial one. It's because the Shrines, as most of you may know now, that they start off on cooldown for 5 minutes. So you can't use any Shrines for 5 minutes. However, this is considered a buff for the lane dominating heroes, especially at mid lane. For example, your Vipers or your Razors. For example,
I'm sure you're going to be feeling the effects of this one playing mid most of the time yourself.
Nah, because I win mid, doesn't matter who I'm playing against.
Okay,
but the way it works is like, for example, if you're playing a Viper who's one of the best laners in the game, right? It's like if you're doing badly against him, before you could just go to the shrine, heal up, and come back in the lane. Now it's not as easy as that because you have to wait. So it means if you're losing your lane, it's going to be bad unless you get some help real quick. So, you know, for those heroes that are able to dominate their lane, especially for mid lane, like, it's going to be very, very good for them. They might be able to either snowball, like, past the laning stage if they get a really good start.
Yeah, more dependence on bottle, I think, for those heroes that do buy bottle, and more bottle crying we're probably going to see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing that they did make the bottle slightly cheaper, only 10 gold, so it's gone down to 650 now. But we'll see how it pans out, really.
Yeah, but that is it, guys, today from Ariel and myself on the top 10 buffs in patch 7.06. If you like this video and want to see more, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment on what your favorite buff this patch is, and thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.